Okay, so the Mavs post-Luka Doncic era started about as poorly as you could possibly imagine, in a complete destruction at the hands of the Cleveland Cavaliers. At this point, as a former Mavs fan, I have not decided yet where my allegiances lie. I'm kind of leaning towards the Lakers because I'm a huge Luka fan and a huge Bron fan, and the Mavs front office, Nico Harrison in specific, just spit in the face of every single fan in our franchise by not only trading Luka, but trading him in the manner he did, reaching out to one team, not getting the most assets he possibly could in return for Luka, and basically handicapping this franchise to a 2 to 3 year max championship window instead of the decade plus window that they still had with Luka Doncic on the team. Just horrible, awful. I've ranted about it multiple times, and I probably will a little bit more in this video as well, but it just could not have started worse in the post-Luka era. Look, I get no Kyrie Irving today, no Daniel Gafford today, no PJ Washington today, obviously no Max Christie or Anthony Davis today either. And I think with a fully healthy rotation, this Mavs team is actually still very solid and potentially contenderish, even with the new additions and with the lack of Luka Doncic. The thing is, they were also contenderish with Luka Doncic. A healthy Luka Mavs team was 19-10, even with a rough start to the season, had won 14 of their last 17 games prior to Luka getting hurt on Christmas, and that was it. The last time we ever saw him put on a Mavs uniform. I mean, maybe until sometime in the future. Maybe he'll come back one day, but I don't have super high hopes of it after Nico Harrison just totally burned that bridge. We'll see what happens. Either way, they get absolutely murked by the Cavs today, which isn't a huge shock considering the Cavs are awesome and the Mavs did not have any of their star players playing except for, I guess, in theory, Klay Thompson, and Klay is not a shot creator at all for himself at this point in his career. He's still a useful role player at times, but he is not the same player he once was. 1 of 10 today. Jaden Hardy had 21 off the bench. That's cool. But just in general, this was a brutal game. I didn't watch the game. I had no desire to watch the game. I have no desire to watch the Mavs, period, right now, in all honesty. I'll watch them probably once Anthony Davis and Max Christie are making their debut, just because, for the sake of videos more than anything else. But as I am disgusted. I have a bad taste in my mouth. I still am stunned that the Mavs traded Luka Doncic. I don't know how long it's going to take for me to get used to this, but it's going to be quite a while. And it's absolutely brutal for a diehard Mavs fan and a diehard Luka fan like me to watch things fall apart like this. And it's a real shame because it's not Luka's fault. It's not the fault of the other players on the team. So as much as I'm so angry, I'm really angry at Nico Harrison. I'm not mad at Jason Kidd. I'm not mad at Kyrie Irving or PJ Washington or Derek Lively or Daniel Gafford or Anthony Davis or Max Christie. Like, I'm not mad at the players, and I want them to succeed, but damn, it's hard to root for them after this happened today. It really is. And so the question becomes, yes, today's game in a lot of ways, or I guess yesterday's game as y'all watch this video, is an aberration. They didn't have any of the main guys, and it was obviously a team that looked shell-shocked today. They're not going to be shell-shocked forever. The question is, how good can they actually be? And the answer to that question is potentially very good. I'm not going to, because of my frustration and my anger with the Mavs, sit here and say that they don't have the chance to still be a very good competitive team that could make a deep run in the playoffs if healthy. Now, if healthy is obviously a big if, and there are some concerns with the roster. And so when you look at what the updated rotation is going to look something along the lines of, it's something like Kyrie Irving, Klay, PJ Washington, AD, and Lively. Now, Lively's going to be out for the next 2 months or so still. And then you have Spencer Dinwiddie or Jaden Hardy or probably more so Dinwiddie off the bench. Max Christie, obviously, Quentin Grimes, Najee Marshall, Daniel Gafford. Now, that 10-man rotation with Jaden Hardy involved as well is phenomenal. There are a lot of versatile lineups that you can run. I mean, they will be able to close games with a Kyrie, Max Christie, Klay, PJ, Anthony Davis 5 if they want to. They could close games with Kyrie, Christie, and Grimes to provide that perimeter defense. Anthony Davis and a big. They could go that same 3 with PJ and Anthony Davis. I mean, there's a ton of variety to the way that they can close games now, and they have the ability to put a ton of elite level defense in multiple ways on the court. A lot of switchability with the athleticism of guys like D-Live and Gafford, elite level rim protection, dominant interior paint presence really on both ends of the court, but especially on the defensive end. But there are concerns as well with this rotation. First and foremost, a team, for example, with the starting lineup of what we're seeing here, Kyrie, Klay, PJ, AD, and Lively, that's not a great spacing team at all. Kyrie and Klay are, but PJ has shot the 3-ball great this year, but still, teams are probably going to leave him open a little bit at times. And then AD has not shot the 3-ball well since the first month of the season and has not for years really been a consistently high level 3-point shooter. And Lively or Gafford, whoever it is at center, has not proven themselves as a stretch big. Not that Gafford ever will. Lively, I do believe, has stretch big potential, but the Mavs don't let him shoot threes. And I don't expect that to change this season. And so there are spacing concerns first and foremost with a lineup with AD at the 4 and Lively or Gafford at the 5. And that's going to matter. Like, I think spacing could be an issue. And the other issue I see is they only have one real shot creator on the team. I mean, Anthony Davis can obviously create his own shot at an extremely high level in the paint. But in terms of a perimeter ball handling shot creator, it is Kyrie Irving. And that's it. Like, Spencer Dinwiddie is not a guy you trust consistently, in my opinion, with being a Mavs fan for so long. I've watched Spencer Dinwiddie a lot. I think he's had great moments, and I think even this season he's had great games, but in general, he is not a high-level playmaker and not a super high-level off-the-dribble scorer. He's not elite efficiency-wise. He's not a primary shot creator at all, and in a lineup now with no Luka Doncic, if he is being the secondary playmaker and the primary playmaker in non-Kyrie minutes, that's extremely concerning. And I mean, as much as I like Max Christie, and I think him and Quentin Grimes give you two really high level point of attack perimeter defenders, not to mention, of course, PJ Washington as well, who has become an elite defensive player in his own right. There's a lot to like defensively, but again, the same question arises when you look at the other guys who are going to be on the wings. Clay, Christie, Grimes, PJ, Najee. Who is the shot creator of that group? And I think PJ Washington and Najee Marshall can use their size and physicality to get the rim at times. Max Christie has shown some real finishing ability this season. He's actually one of the better scorers off of backdoor cuts this year, and has been pretty efficient in that role. But I do think that shot creation could become a real struggle for this team at nights, especially on nights where Kyrie really isn't cooking. And he's had a good amount of them. As good as his efficiency has been this season, he is certainly prone to a 6 for 21 night. I mean, he totally is. And I think especially now with no end in sight to him being that primary creator, because there's no Luka. He's not coming back. Like, it definitely limits, I think it puts a huge responsibility on Kyrie's shoulders, and it's a responsibility that, as great of a player as he is, I'm not sure he's the primary shot creator on a championship team at this point. This Mavs team is going to have to win with defense, and they're going to have to prove me wrong with some of the floor spacing stuff. They're going to have to do those two things to be able to contend, and we'll see if Kyrie and a hodgepodge of other creators, AD doing it for himself, and then a bunch of other wing guys who may not be elite creators, but are going to have to be in bigger shot creation roles. We'll see if they're able to get the job done on a longer term scale. And when I say longer term, I just mean this season and next. Because at this point, I mean, Nico Harrison's talking about the future as the next 3 to 4 years. And hey, Nico Harrison doesn't know what he's talking about anyway. That man's an idiot. So he traded Luka Doncic. He traded Mike King. Like, I got no words. I got no words. At the end of the day, I hope Kyrie succeeds. I hope AD succeeds. I hope the players succeed. But I'm so mad at the front office that I honestly don't know if I can really call myself a Mavs fan right now. That's the honest truth of where I am. And unfortunately, even if this team plays great, it's not going to solve the fact that they traded away our guy. And I know there are a lot of other Mavs fans who feel this way. Like, even if they win a title, this is the first time I think a team could ever win a title off a trade, and the fans are still going to be hurt. A lot of fans have left the Mavs fandom entirely, and I don't blame them. And I'm kind of right along with them to a certain extent. This is brutal, and good team or not, this is horrible. It really sucks. So I hope y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more NBA content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.